Hello, Year 1, Mrs. Savage. For our next topic lesson this week, we are going to be looking at the artist L.S. Lowry that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. So if you did your topic lessons from week 1, you were asked to practice drawing sort of his matchstick figures from his paintings. So today we are going to look at the buildings that he draws. So let's have a look. So can I draw buildings in the style of L.S. Lowry? So let's remind ourselves, who is L.S. Lowry? Do you remember? It was a couple of weeks ago when I first introduced him. Do you remember why we're learning about him? I know it was a while ago, but yeah, because he was an artist in the Victorian times. So because we're looking at the time of Isambard Kingdom Brunel, we're looking at an artist as well who was in the Victorian times as well as Isambard. So let's look. Lowry was an English artist. He was born in the year 1887 and died in 1976. He painted scenes of cities. So we looked at this painting a couple weeks ago, or one of them. So you can see he's got sort of figures that he paints that are drawn very simply, and then he's got backgrounds of cities. So do you remember a few weeks ago when we looked at these matchstick figures, and your task was just to practice drawing them? They didn't have any, definition in their positions, but it was just practicing drawing how their movement. So today we're going to look at the background of his pictures. So L.S. Lowry painted lots of pictures of the industrial landscape. And remember, we talked about the Industrial Revolution with all the inventions and all the engineering that Isambard Kingdom Brunel was involved in. So these are paintings of places in the city where lots of people live and work. So this is a painting that he's done coming from the mill in 1930. So you can see there's lots of people walking back and forth with the background. So what kinds of buildings can you see in this painting? So if I was to look closely, make it a bit bigger for you. Let's see, if I was to look closely here, I could see this look maybe like a church. These could be houses or maybe a school. You've got this sort of archway here. This could be shops with flats above it, these big massive buildings. And then in the far back, these look like a bit like factories. So let me just put it back here. So Lowry's cities. So he focused on a lot of factories. So a factory is a building where people work, making things. And if you looked at the topic lesson this week, we looked at children from the Victorian times, and a lot of those children who had jobs worked in factories. Lowry's paintings contain lots of factories. And what do these factories look like? They're very simply drawn, lots of squares, lots of rectangles. It could even look like maybe an old schoolhouse or something as well. So he also drew houses in his paintings. So lots of houses where the people in the paintings would have lived. Now this picture, these are called terraced houses. And this might look familiar to you because we still have terrace houses in England today. And there are lots of terrace houses in the northwest of England where Lowry lived. So I live on a terraced row. So that means that all the houses are along, they're connected. So that's what Lowry lived in as well. You might live in a terraced house, or there might be a terraced house in your neighborhood, because they're a very popular type of house. So your job today is to just practice drawing some of these factories, some of these buildings. So all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil, or if you want to use a felt tip. You don't need to do any coloring. It's just one picture, one color. So if I just read this for you, and then I'm going to show you a very short video on doing some drawings. So here, just some directions on drawing this picture. So it says, number 1, draw a tower on one side of the paper. Draw it right up to the top. So this could be the tower. Want to draw this picture. Next, draw a big factory building. This goes up to about halfway. So it's just bunches of rectangles, and you can use a ruler, which I'll show you in the video, that you can do as well. Next, fill the rest of the page with a row of terraced houses. Draw these all the way to the edge. And then you can use a felt tip or a pencil to draw in lots and lots of windows. So I'm just going to show you a short clip on, see if Mrs. Savage can find it, sorry. A short clip on how to draw buildings. So you can see here that just drawing 2 lines now, if you have a ruler, you could use a ruler to help you. So he's drawn 2 straight lines, and then he's drawing a point, like in a triangle, for the roof, and then the bottom. And then all you need to do is continue on drawing squares and rectangles to make the door. And then you can draw some more to make windows. So I'm just going to let this play for 1 minute so that you can just get the idea of how you could draw your buildings and your terraced houses. So he's drawing these symmetricals. What that means is he's making it even. So what's on one side, he's drawing it the same on the other side. So that might be something that helps you draw your picture. So he's just drawing little boxes on the bottom of the windows, just to give it a bit more detail. Now, if you were to draw a terraced house, all you would do is then use the line on either the left or the right, and you would just continue on drawing another point, another top of a triangle, and then just build it all the way along. So if I just fast forward this here, you can see that he's just added a chimney on top. If you want to as well, you can Google how to draw buildings, simple video to help you if you'd like. But this is a very easy way, just rectangles and squares, and use your ruler if you'd like, just simple, straight lines. So if we look back here, here are some other drawings that children have done. So we've got sort of a tower, and then a breast of a building, and we've just put in rectangles for windows. Down here, sorry, move that one up. We've got sort of a factory with a tower, and you can see the shape. There's lots of triangles, and then a simple one here. We've got different roofs. This is a brick roof and windows. Now, what I would like you to do is to practice, if you can, drawing these buildings. Draw lots of different types of buildings. If you want to pause it on this picture and just try and copy this picture, you can. Or if you would like to copy one of the others, or if you just want to use your imagination, you could look back at some of Lowry's pictures and try and draw some of these buildings that you would like. So what we're going to do next week is, you can see how this all ties together, is next week we are going to put our pictures of our buildings that we've done and the practicing of our matchstick fingers, and we're going to put them together to make our final collage. So then we will then have created a picture like the one that Lowry paints. So I hope you enjoy researching and looking at Lowry and building these drawing these buildings, so that next week you can create your final piece. So I hope that you have enjoyed looking at Lowry and a different type of artist compared to Renoir, which we did last term, looking at his painting of the rainbow. And we're looking at different techniques by different artists. So enjoy, good luck, and put any of your pictures that you draw on tapestry, and we can't wait to see them. Bye.